On today's episode, you'll hear about a manufacturing company that was struggling to keep up with hiring in order to meet their growth, and they tapped marketing. And together they did a series of things. They did research internally on their company culture and what their employees value. They did message development where they worked on their value proposition and language for job postings that was more approachable for the types of workers that they were trying to attract. They did some typical things that you might expect, as well as some really out of the box creative activities that not only spread the word within the community and help them meet the recruiting goals for right now, it also set up a pipeline of future workers as well. Let's do this.
Welcome to Content Marketing Engineered, your source for building trust and generating demand with technical content. Here is your host, Wendy Covey.
Hi, and welcome to Content Marketing Engineered. On each episode, I'll break down an industry trend, challenge, or best practice in reaching technical audiences. You'll meet colleagues, friends, and clients of mine who will stop by to share their stories. And I hope that you leave each episode feeling inspired and ready to take action. Before we jump in, I'd like to give a brief shout out to my agency, True Marketing. True is a full service agency located in beautiful Austin, Texas, serving highly technical companies. For more information, visit truemarketing.com. And now on with our podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Content Marketing Engineered. I'm joined today by Mary Jutzi. She's the Digital Marketing Associate at Batesville Products. And Mary, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
good. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to talk to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, today, together, we're going to talk about the impact that marketing can make on supporting your local community as well as meeting your recruiting goals. And I know you have some creative ways in which you've done this over at Batesville Products, and also some things that didn't work so well. And I'm excited to unpack all of that and hear what you guys have going on over there. But before we dive in, please tell me and those listening a little bit about your career journey and what led you to your current role.
Yes, so I've been doing marketing at Batesville Products for a little over 3 years now. Batesville Products is an aluminum casting manufacturer, so we make all kinds of different custom metal components. We serve over 70 industries, so anything from fast food fryer lids to dental chair arms. We make all kinds of different stuff through here. So every day is a little bit different.
That's some diversity right there to go from the fryer to the dental chair. Wow. Well, what was the catalyst that led you to this topic we're talking about with community and recruiting as a campaign?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, you might remember pretty much everybody was having trouble hiring. It was the time of what we call the Great Resignation. There were a lot of people retiring. Overall, it just felt like there were a lot more roles open and less people to fill them. So our marketing team, we kind of joined forces with HR to see how we could better advertise these open positions and hire people that will stay.
How was HR? Were they open to the idea? Did they proactively pull you guys in? Because usually, HR and marketing kind of live in different business silos, right?
It's very different here. So I think our HR manager, she's like my best friend at work. So marketing and HR, we work together a lot with like company events already and that aspect of things. So I think working together on this project wasn't that different from like marketing working with sales.
Got you. Yeah, that's a great parallel. So what types of roles was the company struggling to fill?
So most of the roles were production roles. So imagine in the middle of summer, you're trying to hire people to pour 1400 degree metal. That was kind of where we were at.
Wow. Yeah.
It's tough.
Okay. So that's pretty specific type of role. And I take it you guys had multiples of those, weren't finding the right people. And of course, that's going to hold the company back to growth. Were there specific goals for your marketing campaign that you guys set, or maybe it was business goals like number of positions that needed to be filled? What were you measured on?
Yeah, so as it started, it was really filling those roles and keeping the people there. That's the other thing, is making sure we're hiring the right kind of people that want to stay. Because it was another common trend of that time of people hiring on, they get the sign-on bonus, and then they're gone within a month.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, no, you want people to stick around and
Yeah,
grow
you got
their
to get the right
careers.
kind of people.
Exactly. So you had this business need, marketing gets pulled in. Was there a big brainstorming session, or how did your ideas start to flow on this?
Yeah, so in the beginning of the hiring struggle, we did all of the traditional tactics, like everything you'd think of, posting it on LinkedIn, get with local news, put it in the newspaper, on their websites, mailing people, anything and everything you can think of. We tried it, and we weren't getting the results we wanted. Like, we were getting more people in, but they weren't the right kind of people. So it's kind of the equivalent of when you're marketing and you're reaching everyone, but you're not reaching the one key client that you need.
Yeah. I imagine if you're advertising on in job websites and job boards and things like that, you're getting people that are looking, but maybe not necessarily fit the profile of the people you actually want. Did some of that happen where you had some applicants come in, but they just weren't the right people?
Exactly. Or they're just gonna take any job. They might not read that much into it, and then they get in here and they're like, this is actually, it's really hot in here. I don't think I can stay in the heat. Or something like
Right.
that.
So ads were out the window. That didn't work, your traditional stuff. So where did you turn next?
So around this time we did a third party audit, and they came in, they interviewed all of our employees. So third party, they were open to say whatever they wanted. But one of the major findings was that even though our company's been around over 75 years, we've been actually in the same building in Lawrenceburg like since the 60s. So we've been here, bright blue building in the neighborhood, but almost everyone who worked here didn't know that the company existed until they started working here.
Oh, wow.
So it was a big flashing bulb to tell us, like, we need to increase brand awareness in the community, not just in the marketplace.
I got you. Yeah, because it's not like you're a B2C product company that is a
Mhm.
household name. Everybody knows, you see on the grocery store shelf, right? So it's this mysterious industrial company over there. Okay,
Exactly.
so how'd you raise your profile? What'd you do?
So with that audit, it really gave this big picture, and it changed three main things for our hiring. So we found out first, if we're going to compete with Amazon, who's like 20 minutes away,
Hmm.
we really need to be as recognizable as Amazon to our local community. So, like you said, you see the products on the shelf. We're business to business, though. So they're not
Yeah,
seeing that. So they need
that's
to
a
see
lofty
us in other
goal right
things.
there.
Yeah, but only in our small bubble.
Sure.
So just making sure everyone in our little bubble around us knows who we are.
Yeah.
And then secondly, we did a workshop with Chris Karnick. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He wrote a book. It's called Winning the War for Talent. So he's a really good speaker, and this is like right up his alley. He does a lot of presentations about this kind of stuff. But through working with him, we kind of realized, like, we have some major differentiating factors that we need to leverage more or talk about more, that make us stand out from the Amazons and other companies like that. So our major thing was, we're close to home. You don't have to get on an interstate to get to work. We're right here in the community. We're a stable company. We haven't laid anyone off in 75 years. Weekly pay, and we have a skill-based pay program that we
Mm.
rolled out. So as people do trainings and learning new skills, they get pay increases periodically. And then just positioning us as that all-American USA manufacturing facility, family values, what we're all about, that company culture.
Very cool.
So, yeah, using that, we focused on hiring the right kind of people. So, people that fit in personality wise, lifestyle wise. And then we changed our job descriptions on Indeed. It wasn't your basic, like, here's what you're going to do. you need these skills, this education. We tried to actually come up with creative copywriting that fit into like your everyday advertising that you use for customers, but do that for employees. So we're advertising to their lifestyles and hobbies, their values, getting people that actually fit in line with us.
That's interesting. So it reminds me of the concept of some people live to work and some people work to live, meaning, your job and the money you make and your vacation, it enables you to do cool things in your personal life. And it sounds like you struck a balance between those two with what will this do to help you enrich your life? It isn't, I know you're going to get excited about this heat, and
Yeah,
some of the not so fun parts about the job, but you really highlighted what this job could do for that person, it sounds like.
exactly. It's the same concept of what's in it for them. So not just all of these benefits, but a job that kind of gives their life meaning according to their personality type. So like we found out that everyone working in our foundry had a very similar personality type, that they really take pride in what they do, and they're very like fearless. They crave action. So we want more people that crave action, and they want to pour 1400-degree metal because it sounds cool. And they love telling everyone that.
Yeah, versus sitting in front of a computer all day.
Yeah,
Very
that would be
different.
their nightmare.
Right. Oh gosh, it makes so much sense. How did you convey company culture? How did you make sure to communicate that? Was that in words? Was it video?
We did have, so we had a like recruitment video that we put together, and really, I think you can't explain company culture, if that makes sense. You really have to show it, or you just kind of get certain vibes while you're talking to people that you're like, oh, these are my people, or these are not my people.
Yeah.
So, for example, even in our job descriptions, we said, like, if you enjoy camping, four-wheeling, or motorcycles, we know you're going to fit in here. So, kind of to tell people, like, if these are your people, this is our culture.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's a great way to do it. Okay. So was your company culture defined prior to this project, or did that become part of this, is really through those job descriptions in different ways putting descriptors to this? Is it the first time?
I think this might have been the first time of really documenting it.
Yeah.
But from the beginning, we're a small family company. So that's always been our number one value or priority, is always preaching about the family values, all American USA manufacturing.
Okay. All right. So I seem to recall something about a children's book.
Yes. So another thing that the audit helped us do is we really saw the big picture. So we can keep putting out these job ads, but we're going to have the same problem in 5 years if we don't get more involved in the community. So the big thing that did come out of this was a kid's book, and I have it right here.
All right.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So we're really trying to build in the community the next generation of manufacturers. We've been inviting high school students and middle school students for years to tour our facility, and they learn all about careers and what's different types of specialties it takes to run a manufacturing facility. But we've never done outreach for younger students. So this was kind of our beginning stepping stone into introducing them to the manufacturing industry. So it's a little rhyming story to tell how we make things. And it took off like crazy. I thought it would be big, but I didn't think it would take off as much as it did.
So describe to me what you mean by take off. Do you mean like employees were so excited to bring that home to their families, or just throughout the community it was talked about?
Yeah, the employees, of course, they were so excited because they got to bring it home and be able to show their kids, like, this is exactly what I do. Because it's one thing to tell them, it's another thing to actually be able to show them. And then the community just embraced it. So we donated it to over 200 classrooms. in local elementary schools. And I
Wow.
ended up visiting hundreds of elementary students. And I read the book to them. I talked to them about
Oh,
manufacturing, passed
cool.
around examples of stuff, just talking about what I do and making it seem a little less dark and scary as it usually comes off as.
Yeah.
We also partnered with a children's museum called the Kids Discovery Factory in Batesville. So they helped us do a foundry camp for kids. So since younger students can't come visit us because of safety issues, as a lot of manufacturers have, but instead we kind of brought the foundry to them. So instead of melting and pouring metal, we melted and poured chocolate into molds and made gummy bears and stuff like that. So
Nice.
they got a lot of hands-on experience of what manufacturing is and what exactly we do.
Yeah. So, Mary, a lot of marketers are under pressure to show immediate ROI of their activities. And when I hear this, I think that there must be a different leadership mindset when you're, setting the stage for an employee who's not going to be ready to work for you until, 5, 10 years from now. So what was the mindset, or how will you measure success? Kind of describe, I guess, the top-down view of this activity.
Yes, our leadership team was very willing to take a chance on this. Originally, coming up with the idea, it was like, oh, this will be a great trade show giveaway, which it absolutely is. People
Nice.
come to our booth and they definitely want a kid's book to take home to their families. And customers love them when we mail them out, things like that. But I think it shocked us all how big of a deal it became to the community. And I think that our team saw how big of a deal it became and they embraced the growth even more. So this year we're actually launching another kids book because it was so successful,
Oh,
but to
wow.
continue building on the branding.
Okay, what's the new book called?
So the new book is The Hunt for Metal Treasure. So
And what
this one,
Mhm.
the first one was a little younger, so like first grade age range. This one's a little older, third grade. Have a fun pirate theme, but this one focuses on, instead of how the products are manufactured, where they're used and showing how castings are in our everyday life.
Cool. And what was the first one called? I
First one is Foundry Friends Make a Casting.
love that. Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
with those, we have the kids page on our website, and that has videos of me reading the story. So we have a digital version, and then downloadable coloring pages and activity sheets and some of those manufacturing experiments. So you can do stuff at home to kind of simulate the experience.
So you're basically famous now in Batesville for going around town reading this book, right?
I'm getting there. I'm getting
I,
there. I actually, this just today, I had a school reach out to me, and usually it's me reaching out to them and being like, let me come in your school. And she's like, are you coming back this year? Like, our students would love
oh,
it.
that's wonderful. Any other community activities that you'd like to share that you guys are doing?
I think those, the kids' book is definitely our biggest one. A whole other can of worms to get into is 812 Day. So I don't know if your local area has this, but our area code is 812. And we've seen other area codes that do like celebrations about their community on that specific day. So for
Oh,
us, August 12th, 812, uh, we do a $812 donation to a local nonprofit, and we kind of get together with a lot of different community organizations and local businesses and try to just promote what makes our area so great.
neat. Neat. No, I hadn't heard, but that's not a thing where I live, but
I've
maybe
seen a
it should be.
couple, yeah, maybe you should start it.
Yeah.
Seen a couple of areas do it. But yeah, we kind of started it up in our area. And for us, it's all of Southern Indiana is in the 812 area code. So it's a
I
lot of
see.
people coming together.
No, we have, let's see, I live on the outskirts of Austin in a smaller town in what's known as the Hill Country. And in the spring, a lot of the different towns have their festivals, right? And ours is called
Mhm.
Founders Day and it honors the founders. And there is an aerospace test company in Dripping Springs where I live, and no one really knows like what this company is. So same thing. It's like this
Yeah.
mysterious logo. And I, of course, looked them up because of what industry I'm in. But they had a float in the parade and they had like employees wearing this giant airplane. And I thought it was so cute that these, aeronautical test engineers and safety engineers were out there in this hometown parade wearing this, airplane costume.
But that's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully it at least made people curious to go like, who is L2? Who is this company? What's going on
Yeah.
with that?
What are these airplanes doing here? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what advice do you have for marketers that are tasked with helping to meet recruiting goals? What would you suggest to them?
I think it can be intimidating at first, but if you really think of it as the same relationship as you have with sales, it's just you helping HR this time.
Yeah.
So, same exact principle as though nailing down the target audience, creating that compelling copy and visuals that really appeal to your audience's wants and needs and how you can make their lives better. So you
Yeah.
bring in the leads and then HR handles the rest.
Yeah, it really sounded to me like your research into doing that audit that you did of what do the employees value and coming up with that value proposition and putting things, articulating the culture in terms of hobbies and like you said, I thought that was a neat way to do it and one that was obviously very effective. So
Mhm.
so cool. One more question, and this doesn't have to be about recruiting necessarily, but as a young professional, compared to my Gen X self here, how do you think, things are changing? How do we reach younger professionals that we want to recruit to our companies or attract to our products and services? Do you have any advice out there for that, or maybe a contrast of the old way and the new way?
But a couple of thoughts. I think it's important to show that your company is with the times, that it's modern. So they're going to check out your website immediately. They're going to check out your social media, just making sure that's full of smiling faces of people that love their jobs and your company's lively and doing things. Another attractive feature for Gen Z is workplace flexibility. So, one thing that I think a lot of people don't keep in mind is that pretty much all of Gen Z and definitely all of Gen Alpha, we grew up with computers and we grew up with online school. So the concept of working remote is not new to us. It's extremely familiar to Gen Alpha. Like all of the schools have online days. So the flexibility and hybrid work is very natural for Gen Z. And I think offering that feature is very attractive.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll just add one more. I think those are great. I was just listening to Paul Reitzer in the Marketing AI Institute and his podcast, and he was talking about how now in college, all the students are just popping up their laptops. They have their chat GPT or whichever model they're using, and it's transcribing, the professor talking, and then they're instantly analyzing what they're saying and just really taking in that information a whole different way. And
Mhm.
that's even different from, my kids that are, my daughter's 21 and completely different than her college experience. So just a lot of rapid change. But imagine those kids that have seen what AI can do for them. And then they get into a company who's saying, no, 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 we're not going to allow that technology through our doors. Even that, I think, is going to be a
It,
barrier.
it it
Yeah.
would feel as if like walking into a company and chopping off one of your arms. It's
Right.
so
Right.
natural and
Yeah.
embedded into their everyday lives.
Well, the other thing, besides being a Gen Zer, is you are a department of how many?
Department of One.
Department of One. We've had so many Department of Ones on the show. I love it. So, to your fellow Department of One marketers, any advice to them?
I think the biggest advice is just to remember you're not alone. LinkedIn is a great resource to connect with those other Department of Ones. And then the Industrial Marketing Summit is coming up. There's going to be dozens of people there who are in the exact same shoes. And it's really helpful to meet people like that and realize that you're not alone.
Yes. So come on into February 2025. So glad you brought it up. We're about to announce all of the speakers and sponsors. So a lot of information is coming. Probably by the time this airs, I think we'll be like right at announcement time. So perfect.
Awesome.
You're going to be there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good, good. Well, where can people, in the meantime, before IMS, where can they go to connect with you and learn more about Batesville?
Yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just Mary Jutzi. And if you're interested in learning more about Batesville products or seeing the coloring pages or virtual versions of the book that I talked about, that's all on the Batesville Products website. So it's just batesvilleproducts.com.
And that's Jutzi is Jutzi. So
yes,
make sure to go find Mary. And thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today on Content Marketing Engineered. For show notes, including links to resources, visit truemarketing.com/podcast. While there, you can subscribe to our blog and our newsletter and order a copy of my book, Content Marketing Engineered. Also, I would love your reviews on this podcast. So please, when you get a chance, subscribe and leave me your review on your favorite podcast subscription platform. Thanks and have a great day.